it was funny. I was as I was getting ready to come on, I was looking at my hair. It looks so shiny and long. I'm like, it's like a Pantene Pro V commercial. Really liking it. Just had to say that. Shiny hair. It's kind of cool. Anyways, that's not actually what I wanted to talk about today. Today, what I wanted to talk about was, especially after a long weekend, are we resting or are we rotting? There's a Gen Z term called bed rotting, and rotting is leisure time that is laying down, but not necessarily sleeping. Often we have our digital devices, we're playing games, we're scrolling through the TikTok or Instagram and social media. It is used as a form of self-care, and I agree. We do need time to just exist and catch our breath. It's okay to be bored. Especially today, with stimulation constantly bombarding us through electronics, instant messaging, being accessible to each other 24 hours a day, notifications on our phones, computers, smart TVs, and even some appliances now. No wonder after a week of being needed for work, family, home, and ourselves, we are just wanting to lay in the void and escape. With my neurodivergent brain, I actually find that I have trouble paying attention to tasks or conversations. I tend to, when I start getting that way and I'm like, what? Oh, can you say that again? I sort of take that as a reminder to that my brain needs what I call a dog park day, when it can just run like someone left the gate open. No destination, no map or structure, just allowing it to go wherever it wants. So even if I'm alone and I'm working on writing or working on, my business, even then if my brain just keeps it feels like a fight. I rather than fighting to stay productive, I will go with my brain telling me what it wants. The cool thing is if I do that, if I stop and allow it to wander, maybe doodle, do some art, take a walk, or just like sit and play a game for a couple seconds, often that time is followed with a period of hyper focus, and my superpowers start to emerge and actually get quite a bit done. Um, and I even used to employ that at work. I wasn't 100% productive every minute of the day, but I was 200% productive quite a bit of the day. And then I had longer breaks. But if I stay in that mode too long, so this is sometimes what happens, if I'm like, now I'm mindlessly scrolling and it's late and I should have been asleep an hour ago. Or, I've been tired and maybe neglecting myself. So I'm just feeling really icky and I start to, rot into the couch a little too much. Like you can see the imprint of where my head goes on the couch and so on and so on. I actually tend to get more tired. So like there's a window of time where it's a productive rest or it's a good rest, and then there's a time where it actually just makes me feel worse, more foggy, less motivated. If I take too much time laying down or being inactive in a daytime, I can actually get a migraine from that, from just being too I was going to say sentient, that's not the word. Sedentary. I hope I'm sentient. Anyways, too much of anything can turn ugly. And then what happens is because I have some um, self-esteem, worth issues, trauma that I've been working through in healing, especially with some of the events of the last few years, really sort of driving home this thing that maybe I'm not meant to be successful. Then I start to get really ugly with myself. So, I'm so lazy. I'm so gross. No wonder I can't make things work. I'm just not doing enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. Isn't that a horrible thing to say to ourselves? Then it's not actually resting our body. That actually becomes then a freeze response because then my trauma now gets triggered and now I'm frozen. I don't know what to do. And it's funny, even just talking about it, I can feel in my stomach, my upper stomach, just like it feels really uncomfortable. I feel like this shame, this ball of guilt, this ball of yuck, and it almost seems to want to choke my breathing and even just sharing this. Like I can feel like the fear wanting me to just turn off this recording right now and call it a day. And we can't shame ourselves out of bed or off our phones, or we can't um heal with hate for ourselves. And even me just staying in this conversation, even as I feel like the fear and the panic start to bubble up, um, is good. It's good to learn like regulation and listening to my body. And even now, as I listen to my body, so this weekend I took quite a bit of time to rest. And I actually had a little bit of an autoimmune flare, so I was quite in pain. So I needed to just rest a bit. So today I am back to productivity, but also my body is like, we we can't be like racing at 100 miles an hour and then there has to be a little balance. So as I listen to this part of my stomach right now and what it's saying, is it saying we just need a little attention, a little love, a deep breath. And so what I wanted to say about rotting and resting is that ability to listen to ourselves, to embody what we're feeling, to really take our body into consideration, not just our mind. Because one thing that I've learned too is overthinking things and spending a lot of time thinking about things does not actually lead to better results. We can't overthink our way through being healthy, being happy, living a whole life. And so that happened just now, just spontaneously as I was talking about that. So that was really, really interesting. Um, that little bubble is so interesting. Um, so the reason I shared that is when it comes to wholeness and learning how to become whole is often we face some difficulty in even remembering how to talk to ourselves, how to listen for the cues within our body, how to live what it is that we need to live to feel better. Um, or to feel like we are living a life that makes sense for us, that has some meaning to it. It doesn't mean it's perfect. So that's what I do. I was lucky enough to have coaches and through my schooling to learn how to listen and how to understand what my body was trying to tell me to bring myself into wholeness where it's my mind, my spirit, and my body all together creating the picture and helping me relate to myself and respond to myself with love and understanding. So, rotting and resting, you get to decide what those mean for you. When is it too much? When does it start, if when does it become a negative dialogue about yourself taking rest? When does it become, I cannot take a rest because if I rest, everything in my life is going to fall apart, which actually isn't true. I promise you it won't. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Uh, we all have different loads on our shoulders that we carry, but we also need rest because we're not machines. So when we think about purposeful rest, rest that feels good, rest that makes sense for us, or even just getting into the practice of allowing ourselves rest and knowing when we need to even maybe just rot for a little bit. That all takes a little bit of delicacy. It takes often a companion like myself, like I needed a coach to sort of help me wander through that and give myself some grace and practice, which means we don't get this right all the time. But it's not about getting it perfect. It's simply about honoring ourselves and making some progress towards really listening to what we need and providing our needs for ourselves. So that's what a wholeness coach does. But one thing I realized, and I just realized this the other day, is that our algorithms tell us what we are speaking. So sometimes I don't share enough about what a coach actually does and what I can do for people because I assume that you're seeing all the things that I see. But the reason my algorithm shows me a lot of coaches and coaching and that everybody has a coach and everybody knows what coaching is because I'm a coach. So because I'm a coach, I get shown all this stuff. And I forget that we are fed what we put into the algorithm. So I just wanted to be real crystal clear about some of the things that I do. So I work with people one-on-one, and we work really at what you want to work through. I do have what's called a circle of life, where we look through some of the components of human health and wholeness. And the circle of life has many components, but largely it's made of our spirit, our health, our communities, and our purpose in life or career, but often it's just a purpose. And then those are further separated. So that's what I help people figure out is where does their wheel need a little bit of equity, a little bit of balance, and then how do we know what our markers are for attention? Because sometimes we forget, we get either so restless or we get so frozen with some of our stress responses that we forget how to move forward, um, but with kindness to ourselves rather than racing into healing. Yeah. So if you would like more information on that, please reach out to me. But I would love to know, what do you do when you feel like you need a rest or you're rot? Like, what are some of your favorite things to do or to engage in when you're like, this is some great rest? This is, and what's one of your guilty pleasures? What do you like to do when you're rotting? I have real fondness for a game called Gardenscapes. Don't know why. I have played that game for years. I think I'm on level 13,000 and something. That's my guilty pleasure, is a couple of those. Usually in the evening before I do my yoga and climb into bed, and then hopefully I put my phone down. But with my husband away, often I keep my phone because I miss him. Uh, but he's back this week, so yay! All right. So let me know. What do you do to rest? What's your guilty pleasure that you're out with?